I'm Josh Klein.
And I'm Elise Hugh.
We host a podcast from Accenture called Built for Change.
Every part of every business is being reinvented right now. That means companies are facing brand new pressures to use fast evolving technologies and address shifting consumer expectations.
But with big changes come even bigger opportunities. We've talked with leaders from every corner of the business world to learn how they're harnessing change to totally reinvent their companies.
And how you can do it too.
Subscribe to Built for Change now so you don't miss an episode.
Have you ever noticed how a calm mind can really set the stage for a good night's sleep? That's the idea behind our new podcast, Good Sleep. Greg, our host from Optimal Relationships Daily, is here to help ease you into a peaceful night's rest with some positive affirmations. And these affirmations aren't just comforting. They can help ease anxiety and nurture positive thoughts, setting you up for true good sleep. So press play on Good Sleep tonight, because a good tomorrow starts with a good night's sleep. Just search for Good Sleep in your podcast app and be sure to pick the one from Optimal Living Daily. This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 2497. If you want to make good money decisions, there's a simple, if unconventional way to make them, by Charlie Brown of simpleandstraightforward.substack.com. And I'm your host and personal finance enthusiast, Diana Merriam. This is a show where I serenade you with the sweet sounds of personal finance knowledge from some of the best blogs on the planet, with the author's permission, of course. And we have a bunch of shows covering different topics. Just search for Optimal Living Daily to find all of them. But for now, let's get right to it and continue optimizing your life. If you want to make good money decisions, there's a simple, if unconventional way to make them, by Charlie Brown of simpleandstraightforward.substack.com. Questioning everything you're told is exhausting. Say someone, be it someone you know or a guru on social media, says you should be doing X with your money, your time, your life. If it fits into your biases and worldview, and importantly into what people around you also think, perhaps you do it, no questions asked. Easy. Questioning it, having to do your own research, searching deep within you to truly think about whether what you're told is what you really want? Hard, very hard. But when it comes to money and making money decisions, questioning everything is the simple way to make better money decisions. Because as He-Man, amongst others, once said, knowledge is power. If you don't question it, you're assuming that the world has you and your money's best interests at heart. They don't. Not even close. If someone tells you that renting is throwing money away, do you believe them? It's a money norm that has seeped into our collective consciousness. If you're not contributing to a mortgage, your money is going down the drain. Although this is a hotly contested issue online, and especially on this platform, I only know one person in real life who doesn't believe this, and I hang with a relatively open-minded lot. Other money norms we're expected to swallow without question include: save for traditional retirement, otherwise you're screwed. Debt is good if it makes you money. Credit cards are fine. Car payments are fine. Climb the property ladder. More money is always better. And if you have kids, you'll find a way to make your money work, even if you don't have 2 cents to rub together now. As someone who writes words on the internet for a living, I can tell you firsthand that if you openly question any of these norms, you'll be met with a barrage of armchair critics telling you that you and your opinions suck. Sometimes, perhaps they do. I've been known to change my mind on topics after all. Why? Because I question them, and I do as the great Maya Angelou tells us, quote, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better," end quote. But you can only know better and do better if you're prepared to do the questioning, not just spit bile at someone who's dared to voice an opinion other than the usual. Not think that's baloney, shut the laptop and continue down the same path, but to sit with ideas, research them, consider if you would entertain them if you weren't so concerned with what people around you might say about them. Is rent throwing money away? Is reversing the American dream and selling your house in your mid-30s insane? You'll never know unless you question it all. And not just once, continually. Even now, after I made some huge financial decisions like selling my home and business and traveling the world, I still question it all on an almost daily basis. And if my opinions change, my financial situation will change with them. It's the only way to make truly informed financial decisions. Didn't your teacher ever tell you to question your sources? It was History 101. How reliable are your sources? Are you learning about what happened in World War II from a patriotic American author with his biases, or from Nazi propaganda with theirs? The same goes for making financial decisions. Where you choose to get your information from and knowing what they want from you is crucial. To take two extremes of the spectrum, 70% of baby boomers and a surprising, to me at least, 75% of millennials use a financial advisor. Gen Z, on the other hand, looks to TikTok and YouTube. But how reliable is the information from these sources? Financial advisors often have a suite of products they want you to buy. It's how they make their money. And FinTok influencers have their own sponsorships too. So what about advice closer to home? More than half of us will look to our parents for advice, but they have a big vested interest in you. So how reliable are they? My own parents would sooner give me incredibly conservative financial advice than something a little riskier, even if the risky option was better for me, because most parents naturally want to shield their kids from hurt as much as possible. Then there's the most nebulous but risky financial influence of them all, society. What movies and TV shows show us, what the Joneses next door say and do, what our friends are doing with their money. Studies show that all of this has a big impact on our financial decisions, the biggest in fact. This is why questioning all financial advice that comes your way is imperative. Your sources may not be very accurate or working in your best interest. Sifting through what they say is the only way to come out better informed with you and your unique set of circumstances at the center of whatever decision you make. Everything good in my financial life happened when I started to question what I was told was normal. I never would have invested my savings at all. How many people do you know in real life who invest? Aside from some boomer family members who have pensions, I literally know none. I never would have kept my outgoings low and savings rate high. Judging by my financial behavior in my 20s, I could have easily succumbed to lifestyle inflation when it matters most, when you make big life-defining financial decisions. I see too many people who never question what they're told. Too many friends, family members, and peers never consider that there might be another path. And I get it. Taking the road less trodden is scary and looks less safe. More than anything, however, I wonder if people don't question anything because if, or indeed when, it goes wrong, they're failing with millions of other people, which never feels quite as bad as when you fail alone. Don't worry, we all have crippling credit card debt. So we sit in our armchairs and shout, either internally or vocally, about how naive someone is when they dare to question what we're told is normal. We do what everyone else around us does because that is literally hardwired into what it means to be human. We console ourselves by knowing we're not alone when it goes wrong. Yet all of this could be bypassed. We could make great financial decisions if we choose to question it all. You might question what you're told about money and decide that a traditional path is right for you. That's cool. You might question it all and completely change everything. Also, fine and dandy. The point is, you questioned, you assessed, you tried to not let biases and societal pressures influence you too much. You were like a good little 6th grade historian and you questioned your sources and what they want you to believe. I'll leave you with a secret. Questioning life decisions is fun. Once you start to do it, you realize how many more options are available to you. It's the ultimate in what my old cheesy boss used to call blue sky thinking. It's fun to dream and think of different scenarios and sift through what is pie in the sky and what could be a realistic option for you. There are so many more out there than you realize. You just listened to the post titled, "If you want to make good money decisions, there's a simple, if unconventional way to make them," by Charlie Brown of simpleandstraightforward.substack.com.
If I would have kept making only the minimum payments on my credit cards, my debt would have taken me 47 years to pay off.
These are real National Debt Relief customers.
I knew I wasn't going to be able to get out of debt by myself.
Credit card, medical, or personal loan debt? National Debt Relief negotiates with your creditors to reduce what you owe.
National Debt Relief got me out of debt.
You could be debt-free in as little as 24 to 48 months. Visit nationaldebtrelief.com to learn more and get started. nationaldebtrelief.com.
I'm Josh Klein.
And I'm Elise Hugh.
We host a podcast from Accenture called Built for Change.
Every part of every business is being reinvented right now. That means companies are facing brand new pressures to use fast evolving technologies and address shifting consumer expectations.
But with big changes come even bigger opportunities. We've talked with leaders from every corner of the business world to learn how they're harnessing change to totally reinvent their companies.
And how you can do it too.
Subscribe to Built for Change now so you don't miss an episode.
I think the only way to really figure out if your decisions are self-directed or overly influenced by outside forces is to experiment and test your assumptions. So for example, ever since I was a kid, I always imagined myself on a stage somewhere singing. It was something that I really thought I wanted to do in some capacity. And I would have moments where I would try to take it more seriously by looking into taking singing lessons or finding other outlets for it. Then one day, a School of Rock, which is a music school franchise, opened down the street from my house. They had an adult program, and I felt so strongly that this was my moment. I trained for 4 months every single day to ultimately perform in front of 100 people in a one-hit wonder show. I finally got to experience what I had been visualizing in my mind nearly my whole life. I assumed I would feel the feelings I imagined when I visualized myself on stage. But when the show was over and my bandmates were basking in the glory of a great performance, all I could feel was relief that it was over. It didn't feel how I imagined it would feel, but I'm so grateful that I tested that assumption because now I can let it go and test my assumptions around my other big dreams. So when it comes to defining what you really want, my advice would be to have a willingness to be wrong and let that be okay because you'll learn something about yourself no matter what. And also to take action, no matter how small, to test your assumptions because getting some clarity is priceless. And that should do it for today. Have a happy rest of your day, and I'll see you on the Sunday show tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.